Welcome to Lead with Clarity. This is a space for leaders who want to grow without losing themselves in the process. Each episode is a short reflection on leadership, influence, and the inner work that shapes how we show up for others. It's not hype, not noise, just clear thinking for the journey of leading well. Today's episode is entitled The Emotional Truth Behind Every Hard Conversation. Here we go. Think about the last time you were absolutely certain you were right and it did not matter at all. You had the data, you had the logic lined up cleanly, one point after another, and still the person across the table did not budge. If anything, they dug in harder. That experience, frustrating as it is, points to something Dale Carnegie understood long before most of us were born. Carnegie wrote, "When dealing with difficult people, remember, you are not dealing with creatures of logic, but creatures of emotion." Sit with that for a moment. Not creatures of logic, creatures of emotion. That's not a criticism of people. It is simply an accurate description of how we are built. All of us, including the leader making the argument. Here's where a lot of leaders misread the moment. When a conversation gets difficult, when someone pushes back on a decision or resists a piece of feedback, the instinct is to sharpen the argument. Add another data point. Restate the case more clearly. Surely, if the logic is airtight enough, the other person will come around. And sometimes that works. Often it does not. And the reason is that the resistance was never really about the logic in the first place. People don't usually push back because they misunderstand the facts. They push back because something else is at stake for them. Their sense of competence. Their standing on a team. A decision they made months ago that this new information seems to contradict. Pride, fear, loyalty to an earlier version of themselves. None of that shows up in a spreadsheet, but all of it shows up in the room. The common misread is treating every difficult conversation as a puzzle to be solved with better information. That framing feels productive. It keeps the leader in familiar territory, the territory of facts and arguments, where they feel most in control. But it quietly ignores the actual dynamic playing out in front of them. The reframe Carnegie offers is simple, even if it's not easy. Before you sharpen your argument, ask what this person might be feeling. Not what they're saying, but what is underneath it. Are they protecting their credibility? Are they afraid of what this decision means for their role? Are they simply tired and the timing of this conversation is working against you? You don't have to guess perfectly. You just have to ask the question at all because most people never do. This does not mean abandoning facts or rigor. Good leadership still requires clear thinking and sound judgment. But clear thinking has to include the emotional reality of the person in front of you, not just the technical merits of your position. A leader who can hold both, the facts and the feelings, is far more persuasive than one who can only hold the facts. There's a contemporary layer worth naming here too. In workplaces increasingly shaped by AI tools, it has never been easier to build a technically perfect case. Data can be pulled together in seconds. Arguments can be structured flawlessly. But none of that changes how persuasion actually works between two human beings. If anything, it raises the value of the leader who can read a room, sense a flinch, and know when to set the airtight argument aside and simply listen. That's not a skill any tool can hand you. It has to be practiced. So here's the carry forward thought for the week. The next time you find yourself in a difficult conversation, notice if you're gathering better arguments or better understanding. Those are not the same thing. Often what moves a person is not the fact that finally convinces them, but the sense that they were actually heard before you tried to convince them of anything. Carnegie was not offering a communication trick. He was naming something true about human nature, one that logic alone will never fully solve. The leaders worth following are the ones who learned to meet people where they actually are, not where the argument assumes them to be. That's where we're going to leave it today. Carry that thought with you into your next hard conversation and see what changes when you lead with understanding before you lead with logic.